Yahweh, Achad, Shema, Yasher Allah, Yahweh, Allah Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad, Shema, Yasher Allah, Yahweh, Allah Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Bahashon Chahakodash. We want to give double honors to our elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. All right, I'm Zahab, spirit wind lawyer. And today I want to go into a topic entitled Trust and Other Topics. All right, 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, that he will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but with the temptation also find a way for you to escape. Okay? And I'm learning and I've been meditating on certain temptations that I have and brothers have, and it feels fiery. I believe it's 1 Peter, the 4th chapter. It refers to our temptation as a fiery trial. And what does that remind me of? It reminds me of Daniel. All right? It reminds me of Yahweh's men in the furnace, an actual furnace. All right? But the angel was there. Yahweh Shai was there. All right? All right, to keep them from being tormented by the flame. But basically, Yahweh Shai was there in their trial. All right, and he was also there to shield them from the furnace. But they trusted him in the furnace, you see? And sometimes I think about, certain trials that you have, certain temptations, whether it's inward or external, it could come off as fiery. All right? It could come off as fiery, man. You could feel the hell, but just like in these examples we have in the scriptures, all right? We have these examples that Yahweh Shai is there in the midst of the fire. Another topic, another lesson. Yahweh Shai is there. So when you go through temptations and you're faced with trials and it seems like it's no way out, or you feel like you're too weak for the particular temptation, but the consequences is dire. The consequences is bad, for lack of better words. But at the same time, you feel too weak. You have to remember, there have no temptations taking you, but such is common to man. Yahweh is faithful, that he will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. So we have to start learning to trust that, Yahweh Bahashim Shai is not going to put you in a situation that you can't handle, even if you don't feel like you can handle it. You might have to level up to handle it. You might have to go on a fast to spiritually handle it. Change your diet to handle it. Change certain things in your lifestyle to handle it. Elevation sometimes requires lifestyle change, diet change, because it raises it makes the spirit man stronger than the flesh, depending on what you got going on. But that may have been what's required what was required to elevate, man, to overcome your obstacle. Okay? Yahweh is faithful. So Yahweh Shai is with us in the midst of our affliction. All right? Don't you know that we're under supervision? Even when you're in your apartment, it's a chariot watching you, man. There's an angel watching you when you're in your house. When you are in your apartment. Even when you have mental afflictions, spiritual afflictions, man. It's like the Most High is assessing you through his angels. They're observing you. That's how you have athletic tryouts and stuff, and these physicals and stuff. And they want to see how you perform. Then they see you jump or run or whatever. Then they start writing stuff down. It's like that's how the angels are doing. They're supervising you, man. You see, it just feels like you're alone. You know? It just feels like you're going through it on your own. Let me see. It just feels like, you know, you are on your own. It feels like it's just you, or it's just too much, man. But that's part of the nature of the temptation. That it's too much for you, but it's not too much for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And he gave it to you to call upon him. And to call upon him, all right, causes the deliverance, but it also keeps you from knowing, it keeps you knowing that, you know, you can't do this thing on your own, man. You're going to have to pray. You're going to have to fast. You're going to have to do what you have to do. And I'm speaking from experience, man. Hey, that's why, and it goes right into, if thy right hand offend thee. You know, sometimes you might not do certain things because it gives Satan access to you, man. It gives him an opportunity to hop in the driver's seat of your world, man. You know, so some brothers, they cut off certain things that's definitely not a sin. All right, it's definitely not a sin, but it's an impediment to them being in the spirit. It's an impediment to the faith for them as individuals, and that's a part of being more refined as an individual in this truth. You know what works and what doesn't work for you in the spirit, man. Okay, but hey, men of the Lord, we have to do what we have to do, you know. But once again, we have to learn how to trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai in the midst of the furnace. Yep, hey, Psalms 34:6. This poor man cried, and Yahweh heard him and saved him out of his troubles. The angel of Yahweh encampeth around about them that fear him and delivereth them. Because look, if you're going to have a mental hell, you got a mental hell, you got certain circumstances that's tailor-made for your spirit, but it's a hell in itself. But it's imagine being in a torture camp, man. Some of us going to get picked up in a torture camp, man. Some of us gonna have a guilt. Some of us gonna be put to death. So I'm quite sure the anticipation of death is way more gruesome than the death itself sometimes, depending on what it is. So if we are having trouble trusting him now, hey, how are we going to handle ourselves in a time of Jacob's trouble? When in order to go back to the grid, you got to get the you know what. So we got to build our trust in the thick of the battle, man. Because these battles are getting thick, man. And Satan is looking for an opportunity to get you out of here, man. You know, something shifted around the Day of Atonement. If you ask me, speak as a man, but we're at the last stretch of this thing, man. Satan is going to do what he has to do to get you out of here, man. Isaiah 41:14. Fear not thy worm, Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So, 2 Ezra 16:7. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Ate the water, brothers, for bringing the scriptures out. 2 Ezra 16:75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide. So we have to get this thing in our head that, hey, it's going to be miracles, and there's going to be a balance, because when that great hell is put upon the earth and those decrees are sent towards the elect, like the decree was sent towards Daniel, a standard is going to get raised up. That's the balance, man. You know, Jacob's trouble is the elect's salvation. Most High is going to show his miracles in the midst of Jacob's trouble. You think all these brothers and sisters are having dreams for no reason? Visions for no reason? Then when Jacob's trouble hit the fan, it's like, damn, What's up with the spiritual power? Which we're in Jacob's trouble. But it's not just dire yet. You can still function in society. You know? But when you're really stuck in your apartment or you stuck in your house and you can't buy new food, yeah. That's like the temptations of Daniel, man. All right? The temptations of Yahweh's holy men who didn't want to worship Baal. You know, just these different situations in which we got delivered, man. But now we're about to relive it. Because ultimately, a lot of us are those men coming back. Some of us are those men coming back. You know? But that's the point. And I'm not going to prolong it. You know? We just have to learn to trust him in the thick of the battle, man. When everything is intense, we still got to have that trust. You know? It is from edification for the hopefully elect of Israel, Psalm 91:9. If you make Yahweh your refuge, if you make the Most High your shelter, no evil will conquer you, no plague will come near your home. So there you go. And that plague can be Esau and those troops. It could be the missiles, you know. It could be starvation. But we know that Yahweh Bahashim Awashai is our deliverer. All right, but the water for tuning in. I hope this lesson was of edification. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Awashai, Bahashim Hakodash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. And Baba Baal, Kum Yashua Allah Shalom.